That's one way to get the out, because there's a force at home. So are we live? All right, so if you're just joining Facebook Live, we are here at DJ's Dugout. Facebook Live?
We're on YouTube.
YouTube.
Not Facebook.
Okay.
Stop saying Facebook.
Those of you who are on our YouTube channel, live streaming, the first question that was brought up, we have 2 outs, bases loaded, drop third strike. Since there's 2 outs, yes, first base is occupied, but we still have to get that third out. All right, so the only time we won't have a drop third strike with first base occupied is less than 2 outs. So if we have 2 outs, first base is occupied, in this case it's bases loaded, now those runners are all forced to run because the batter runner has to go to first base. So now there's a force at home, there's a force at third, there's a force at second, there's a force at first. So there's 4 different ways on that drop third strike to get that third and final out of the inning. All right. Those of you, whether you're on YouTube, live, dugout, at the very end of this meeting, I'm actually going to bring this schedule back up, but we do have games open Tuesday, we do have games open Wednesday, we do have games open Thursday, we do have games open Friday, and we have a bunch of games open Saturday and Sunday. So this week we have another River Cities tournament at Seymour, Kelly, and Council 10 tournament, and we have a Millard United tournament this weekend. So if you're looking to work one of those 3 tournaments, you could contact your coach at the end of the meeting. Matt Krause, Tom Hendricks, myself, we have our computers up. We could assign you games. And at any time, those of you who have self-assign could use self-assign. Anybody in the room not know how to use self-assign? Self-assign is, to me, the way to go, personally. But I know some people still have questions on that. So before we open up the room to discussions with rules, I myself, is it this one? Yes. I myself, one of the unique things, how are we doing, Ryan? One of the unique things about being a coach and an assigner and umpire coach is I always assign my games last as a 13U coach. And our last 5 games have been one person at 13U. How many in the room have worked one person, 14U, 13U this past week? Mabel, 17, 18-year-olds, one person. All right. And I can't explain enough when it comes to one person how important it is to move around the field. And what we're going to go over here is not over hustle, fake hustle, but moving efficiently so people stay off of us as umpires. I always find it ironic when coaches are in the dugout, they're stationary. When fans are in the stands, they're stationary. They're not moving either, and they're the ones yelling at us, right? And it's amazing if we stay still and stationary behind home plate, whether we get the call right or wrong, half the crowd, half the coaches are going to yell at us. So the purpose of this training is how can we move efficiently, not fake hustle, not to kill us, but move efficiently so no matter what call we make, we're getting, hey, they hustled. They're trying. They're by themselves. They're doing the best they can. All right, so there's 3 situations. So we always start behind home plate. When you're working one person, all right, I know some people out there, I umpire better behind the mound. It doesn't work that way. You have batter interference. You have catcher interference. You have plays at home. You have, did the ball go off the batter? Was the batter's foot in the batter's box? I could go on and on and on, but most importantly, fair foul down this line, you have no idea when you're working behind the pitcher's mound. If it's a fast, fair foul down that line, if the lines aren't painted clearly in the outfield, if the glare of the sun is such you can't see that fair foul line down the field, you can't officiate that. And it's just too important, right? So one person mechanics behind the catcher. No runners on base. No runners on base. Those in the room, this is going to be a very hard question. This is not for the baseball. No runners on base. When the ball is hit, how many runners are there? There's one runner. So how many runners do we have to umpire? One. All right? So when that ball is hit as a ground ball, we're going to run about halfway down the runner's lane. And this is not different because when we're going two umpires, no runners on base, ground ball in the infield, where do we go? We go exactly the same spot. So one umpire person, two umpire person mechanics, no runners on base, home plate umpire, we're doing the same exact thing. Now, if it's a double, all right, runner's going to touch first, we're going to get to second. Home plate umpire. If it's a clean double, I'm not going to run all the way here and then here. I'm going to run straight up the field. Two-person mechanics. We're in the working area, right, when that runner's at second? It's the same distance. Think about this. If you're U1, no runners on base, you're starting 8 to 10 feet behind first base, you're running to the middle of the field. I have not done this with a measuring device, but I bet you this then home plate to the working area. I'm willing to bet that. So one-person mechanics, if it's a clean double, just come straight out to the working area. We do the same thing. We run the same distance in two-person, the same distance. Now, if it's a triple and an error, I am going to run around the pitcher's mound. But if it's a right center stand-up double, I am running to this working area right here. Same spot as two-person. And again, this is a shorter run from U1 to this side of the working area as a base umpire as it is a home plate umpire seeing a triple on this side. All right, so no runners on base is majority of the time because every half inning starts with no runners on base. So home plate umpires, you are doing nothing different, two-person, one-person, with no runners on base. And it's amazing on how many umpires in the one-person system. Oh, I'm working by myself. I'm just going to stay right around here, which does benefit to you not at all whatsoever. It's now it's giving them an excuse why I could yell at this umpire. Now let's say we have a snowball fight. Everyone understand what a snowball fight is? So if I throw a snowball at Walter, guess what Walter's probably going to do? Throw it back at me, all right? So then once we have one missed throw, a second missed throw, then coaches should be yelling snowball fight. All right, so now this one runner is going all the way around the bases. Home plate umpire. Yes, in one umpire mechanics, you are taking this play in fair territory. Your chest to the baseball, and you're following the baseball to home plate. All right, so umpire's like, well, I got to stay at the point of the play if there's a play at home. No. Not in one-person mechanics. All right, now it's a steal at second base. That's exactly what we do in a steal at second base when we're U1 and B position. We have the chest to the baseball / catcher. When the catcher throws it to second, we turn with the baseball. One umpire mechanics, one runner, snowball fight. Our chest is to the baseball. That baseball comes home. We just turn with the baseball. We do it all the time in two-person mechanics. All right, so really, one umpire mechanics, no runners on base. Everything is very similar to a two-umpire mechanic. Okay? No runners on base, get up that fair foul line. Clean double, get to the working area. Clean triple, get to the working area. It is less distance than when you're working a base umpire and doing it right. All right, second situation. You have a runner at first, runner at second only, runner at first and second. Not a terrible situation yet. But now how many runners / potential runners do we have? We have 3. Are any of them going home right away? No. All right, so again, all we're doing is getting in the work, I call it the reverse working area. The normal working area is behind the pitcher's mound. Because the base umpire, you are responsible for 3 bases, right? In two-person, you have a play at first, you have a play at second, you have a play at third. In one umpire person mechanics, you are going to be in the reverse working area Because you are responsible for 3 runners just like you are in 2-person. Could you umpire all 3 runners very efficiently behind home plate? You can't. Just like if you're working behind here, you're not going to be able to officiate home plate. You're too far away. So you're going to come out to the reverse working area about 10 feet in front of the mound. Plays at first, sweet. Turn your chest to first base. Plays at second, sweet. Keep facing forward. Plays at third, sweet. Turn your chest to third base. You have all 3 bases covered. And then if there's an error, then there's a throw home. Now we're taking that steal at second base. We're following that ball from that overthrow. We're following the ball from second base because the coach is sending them from second base. We are in the reverse working area following the baseball to home plate. Again, do not stay in this dirt circle. It's not going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit you angle. It's not going to benefit you with how the crowd is going to be perceiving you umpiring baseball. This is where one umpire mechanics really, really stinks. Runner on third base. Bases loaded, second and third base only. Now, why can we not come up the first base line for a first play at first? All right, there's a throw home. All right, we don't see the runner touch home plate. What if the runner does a little elbow shove, the catcher does a little elbow shove, we don't see it. So we can't do that mechanic. What if we come to the reverse area, reverse working area? You're not going to see the touch at home. You're going to get in the way of the play. That's why we can't do that. What we need to do, you get first base extended. All right, this is the area that you need to work whenever there's a runner at third base and the ball's hit into play. Because now if the play's at first, you have pulled foot, swipe tag, runner's lane, force at first. You have the touch at home plate. If they have a play at second base, your first base extended, the catcher's not going to get in your way. You have a play at third base. Whoa. That never happened. You have a play at third base. You actually have a good look at third base. All right? No, that was my computer. Yeah. All right, so third base runner in 1-person mechanics. First base extended in foul territory. All right, so I challenge everybody. If you work 1-person mechanics, and I say this, I'm going to try to say this as real but professional as I possibly can. I would rather work with 2 really good umpires than a third umpire in 3-person that doesn't know 3-person. I would rather work with 3 umpires in a 3-person system than with 4 that doesn't know the 4-person system. So take pride in that 1 umpire system. Understand from an administrative side, we are doing everything possible not to have 1 umpire games where the teams want 2 umpires. But I will say this, I myself am not going to just find somebody at a grocery store, hey, what are you doing in 30 minutes? Nothing. Have you ever seen a game of baseball? Yes. All right, I need you to go to this field and just stand on the bases. It does not do us any good. Now, if tournaments want to do that, I'm going to leave that up to the tournaments. If they want to throw a person on the bases with a PSOA umpire, awesome. But 1 umpire mechanics, I believe in our training that if we do these mechanics correctly, nobody on base, get up here. Runners on base, reverse working area. Runner on third base, first base extended. Our training will get majority of the calls right. Okay? I would rather us be trained properly doing 1 person than just running somebody out there and not having any training whatsoever. All right? I don't want to be in that situation, me, myself on the field. Steals. I should have brought in my mask. Here's the biggest trick on steals. Take off your mask. If you take off your mask, you are sending the perception you're trying to get a look at it. It's all perception. All right? When that fly ball goes up, what do the coaches tell the catchers to do? Take off the mask. They've been catching fastballs all game long with that mask on. They could catch a fly ball with the mask on. It's just a perception. Hey, take off your mask. All right? I've been calling balls and strikes all day long with my mask on. Rip off your mask on steals. If you've been getting yelled at, if you rip off your mask, you'd be amazed on how less you get yelled at just by ripping off your mask. And if the ball beats them, what's the call? Out. All right? We're not on top of the play where we could say slid underneath the tag or the tag was on the shin instead of the spike. Coach, the ball beat them. They caught it. They got out. If we have our mask off, ball beats them, call them out. All right, so that really is all the one-person mechanic training there is, and it's going to benefit you to work one-person mechanics the same exact way you would work two-person mechanics as a plate umpire with no runners on base, as a base umpire getting to the working area. You're just doing both mechanics yourself, depending on the situation. But you do both mechanics depending on a two-person mechanic. With that being said, I'm not sure if there's any questions in one-person mechanics on the chat box. Are there any one-person situations, like how could I have handled it better or differently? David.
All right. I had double play. Okay. So, check. I watched the out at second base. I turned to watch the throw it first. It went wide, and now I've got coaches hollering, the guy didn't slide and it's interference.
Okay. So the question is, there's a runner on first base. We have a forced play slide rule at second. We're getting into the reverse working area. We need to stay with this throw, with this catch, with this play, until this throw is made. So when you turned and looked, do you remember, was it before the throw or after the throw? Okay, so if it was after the throw, and then there was contact after the throw.
I don't even know if there's contact.
Okay.
In the slide,
Just,
enough to make the throw go wide.
okay. So, philosophy, what play is more important? A safety play or a force play? Safety play. So if you deem this is going to be a safety play, stay with this even longer. Because on a force play at first base, when we're getting out, on a force play at first base, are we using our eyes or ears more anyways? We're using our ears. So even if we stay with this super late, and as we're turning, I hear rubber, leather, I'm still using my ears to rule on this force play. If we don't see it, can we call an out? So if we know it's close, just go safe. Because you were watching this safety play at second base. Timing play as in tagging up? Okay. Oh, but there's not another.
You can use your.
Oh, yeah. All right, sweet. Well, I'll be. Could I? Okay, sweet. So the question is timing play. So we have two outs. We're going to our wrist because let's say there's a base runner at second. We have a base hit, and all of a sudden this runner at third's coming home. We get out to this reverse working area because Coach Johnston says get out to this reverse working area, and now the play's at back pick at first base. Oh, shoot. So I'm going to make this call at first base without seeing when did that runner touch home plate. If we don't see it, can we call a penalty? No. Hey, Coach, you want to know what? I'm going to have him safe at home because by the time I got that out at first base and I turned and looked at home, he already was past home plate. In your judgment, Coach, with you standing behind me, Could he have been one stride short of home plate before that play at first base? Yes, could have. So now the adjustment is if runner at second base, ball hit to the outfield, where most likely is that runner going to go? Batter runner. No. R2. He's probably going to come home. So I'm going to treat that now. I have a runner at third base. So now let's get to that first base extended. All right. So now, like error by second base. Oh, shoot. If I have time, I could come back to first base extended for that runner coming home. If you have time. Usually it's an error. Now, if there's a runner at second base and it's a boom, clean shot, I'm not going to go to that working area. I am going to go to extended first base with multiple runners now, because now I do have a runner at third base. Now that runner is going to either decide to come home or stay at third base. Is there a way I could change the mouse color too? No. All right, that's a good question. So timing play, what's the best way? First base extended. If you have time, if you get to that reverse working area, there's an error, and then just come back to that first base extended.
This one was a rundown.
Huh.
The backup monkey that was trying to help me was questioning, you couldn't have seen that, you couldn't have seen that. It was safe.
So where was the rundown at?
3 seconds.
The rundown was between second and third. Was there any runner ahead of that runner? Scored? Okay, so that was the timing play.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So if there's a rundown between second and third, I'm going to be in this reverse working area right here. I'm going to umpire this out. As soon as that out is done, I'm turning my head. All I'm doing is turning my head. It's just like a tag up. You're not going to have the perfect angle in two-person or one-person on a tag up at third. You're going to see the catch. You're going to turn your head. You're going to use common sense of, all right, I know how long it probably took for me to get from here to here. Were they within home plate in that time frame? So make it, your one-person mechanic timing play, make it absolutely huge. Make it huge. Umpire? Umpire, Raleigh, come on, get in here. You're an umpire. Let's go. Yes, I do. Yeah, that's why we need you to umpire.
More than anybody else in here.
Come on, Raleigh. One-person mechanics. It's easy.
I got that down.
It couldn't have been a better person to walk in the room. Not gonna lie, that was awesome. Timing play, rundown. Officiate the rundown first, and then just turn your head. And if he's well short of home plate, no run, no run. If he's close, like beyond the plate, count the run, count the run. All right? Count the run, count the run. Good victory? Yeah, good. Awesome. Amen. Amen. Any other one-person situations? Like, what is the best way to handle this if this happens again? Because those watching this as because people watch it tomorrow, I can't stress enough, I would rather work by myself than with an untrained umpire just making stuff up. I need a partner next weekend. Because how many people would rather work with 2 umpires than by themselves? Okay, so we now have 2 days to recruit friends. If you are working by yourself, Saturday, Sunday, recruit a grandchild, recruit a friend, recruit a coworker, recruit a family member. If a coach is yelling at you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, recruit them to training so they can umpire with you, get to know you as a person. They probably will stop yelling at you. Question? What's that? Is so if we were to assign them, they would have to go through our training, yes. Now, if they're just working other organizations, other associations, you just have to follow those organization association rules. But if somebody who is brand new, no umpiring experience whatsoever, We cannot put them on a select game without training. Can we put them on rec games without training? Yes, we can. But we cannot put them on a select game without training. David.
Okay, I got a batter in the box. I got a pitcher on the mound.
Pitcher on the mound.
Runners on the base.
Batter in the box.
Runners on base. The pitcher is getting ready to throw. The batter steps out of the box,
Sweet.
and the pitcher doesn't throw.
Okay.
What's it called?
So the rules question. Pitcher's delivering the pitch. Batter steps out of the box. Pitcher stops delivering the pitch. Who caused the pitcher to balk? The batter. The offense cannot cause the pitcher to balk. Time. Start all over. And let that batter know, hey, you can't do that. You can't just stop being a batter. Now, if they step out of the box and a pitch is delivered, you just call the pitch.
But the batter cannot cause a ball.
Batter cannot cause a balk, and I'll take that a step farther. Remember, no offensive team member could cause a balk. Has anyone had a coach yell balk from the third base box? All right, that is unsporting behavior. All right, so I could think of situations where I would do this, but very few situations where I go right to this. If a coach yells balk and you think they are doing it on purpose to gain an advantage, to get in that pitcher's head and to score that run, that coach is ejected. That is unsporting, unethical behavior. Now, most coaches, they yell balk just because they see the balk, okay? If it disrupts the pitcher whatsoever, time, all right? Coach, you can't do that. If you want to warn them, you can warn them. Deceiving the opponent, we'll get into that here in a second. But if you think they're doing it to really, really get in that big 9-year-old's head to win this game, time, you ejected. But if they do it just because it's a spontaneous reaction like most coaches do, and it does interrupt the pitcher, time, no balk, coach, you can't do that, and then reset. We actually had that in our game.
I had one a couple weekends ago where it was like a check swing, hit up the first baseline. I didn't, coach said it when I was the guy's head. I didn't see it. It looked like off the hand, but I'm just going to walk the line. The runner starts running, the coach just starts screaming, foul, foul, like runner. I was like, I didn't see it. But you can't do it. I called it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he yelled at me because I got the call wrong. He said it was too close and she called a mistake. You need to call that.
Yeah, no, so the coach can't yell, like the play was,
But I told him you can't be yelling out foul because people stop.
yep.
That's a fair ball. It's not.
So in that one, let's say the ball is hit. It does or does not go off the batter, but the umpires or umpire judgment, it did not go off the batter. Coach is yelling foul, 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 and the defense stops playing, and it winds up being a fair ball. We have offensive interference. We have an offensive team member hindering, confusing the defense. Offensive interference, time, that batter runner is out. The batter runner is out. And then all other returners run back to where they were at the time. Exactly. It's offensive interference. That'd be offensive interference. So the offense was yelling at the pitcher? You gotta be louder. Was it timed and orchestrated, or was it consistent? Yep. So if it's consistent, it's legal. If it's and they scream right as that pitcher's, that's orchestrated. All right, that is illegal.
If it's opposite, where they're very loud, and then as he goes to pitch, they go silent.
That's orchestrated. That is illegal. Yeah, any we'll call bench jockeying for lack of better terms. any bench jockeying that is orchestrated to confuse, get in the opponent's head is illegal, and you just give a team warning. Hey guys, here's your team warning. You cannot use orchestrated comments, cheers, chants. I call it softball. You can't do softball during baseball. All right? You could cheer on your team, you could chatter, you could scream and holler, it just can't be orchestrated.
What about clapping, John? I had this, like kids at first and third, the pitchers, finished delivering their clapping. And the coach said, they're clapping our pitchers. Might be clapping their batting coach.
Yeah, a base runner clapping, I got nothing. I got nothing on for all I know, they're giving them, it's a fastball coming instead of, and that's legal. Yeah. Now, if they're, again, screaming, but if they're clapping, yeah, clapping's legal.
So you can chant and stuff like that in a dugout.
If it's orchestrated to get into that pitcher's head, you cannot have orchestrated chants in baseball.
Base hit, ball four, base hit, ball four, base hit, ball four, base hit, ball four, base hit, ball four.
Illegal. That's why we didn't do it last game.
There's a guy on third base, if you think he's just clapping to distract the pitcher, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I know exactly. It's no different than a base runner. I'm going to stand up here, trying to get that pitcher's attention that I'm going to steal home, that I'm going to steal third. It's a runner doing it is nothing. Yeah, the pitcher's got to have some type of mental toughness, but we're not going to let the whole team orchestrate against the pitcher.
What is the rule about? So I have a ball down the line, first base line. First base coach.
Is this on? Okay.
First base coach comes over to the line, looking right down the line, blocks my view of the ball. What do I mean, I called a foul in the situation. He was like, it hit the line. I said, Coach, I couldn't see it. You were on the line. Is that coach's interference or like?
No, so what you did, I feel, is right common sense, fair play. So rule. This is where the base coaches can station themselves,
We didn't have the lines on the field.
which is fine. We all know what 10 feet off the field looks like. So if they're anywhere near this fair foul line and it impedes like a first baseman, now you have offensive interference.
Right.
If it impedes your judgment, couple of things. I'm always going to go against the team that put me in a bad spot. Second thing you could do is keep it alive and then ask your home plate umpire. You could ask your home plate umpire, hey, I didn't see it.
I was the home plate umpire, and we had runners on. He was either, my partner was either at B or C. I can't remember, but he was down the third baseline. And yeah, he come off the hay. He was like, it was on the line. I was like, I walked up to him. I was like, it's your fault
Yeah.
because you were on the line. I couldn't see it.
Foul ball.
And he goes, oh, fair point. Turned around and walked away. And I was just like, he didn't argue after that.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if there was any sort of rule, like if that's interference.
There is a rule, but it's got to impede the opponent,
The opponent. Okay.
not the umpire.
What about the other way, Sean? The guy coming down the line toward home plate to tell his kid whatever.
All right, so now we have a runner at second base. We have this third base coach coming down the line, and they usually get about right here. Let's understand the coaching side of it. Why are the coaches getting right here?
They're watching the outfield,
They're
timing out that runner.
They're trying to watch that ball as long as they possibly can while this runner rounding second, coming to third, could see that coach the whole entire time. If they are doing that, that is legal. 100% legal. Now, they can't get in the way of the cutoff man. They can't be yelling stuff to the third baseman or anything like that. And it's funny you bring this rule up, or this situation up. That coach cannot be running like a base runner towards home plate. Because if that coach is running like a base runner towards home plate, what does he look like? He looks like a base runner. That is coach's interference. That is illegal. But if they are just standing or getting into a position to see that ball as long as they can at the same time so that runner could see them as long as they can, and they're not imitating to being a player, legal.
So there's no guideline or things how far down the line.
I'm not going to let them get to home plate. So that's where our judgment is now going to come into play, right? How far down the line before he impedes and hinders the catcher? If he impedes and hinders the catcher at all, now we have offensive coach's interference. And whatever play that runner is being made on, that runner is out. Is it on? Okay. All right, but yeah, that is funny because that play came up in a college game where the third base coach is literally running down the line when the pitch was being delivered. So what did that look like to the pitcher and catcher? It looked like a player stealing home when it was the third base coach stealing home. So they cannot imitate or pretend like they're a base runner, but they can come down and coach. Good questions there. Good questions there. All right, I'm going to transition to the second part. Plate umpire, two-person. We already went over no runners on base. Plate umpire, two-person. Ground ball, where are we going? Straddling this fair foul line. Are we making safe out calls at first base? No. All right, it's always when a new umpire working 8U, 9U, 10U, in a lot of single-person games, and they get out there with a partner at 12U, they're trained to make that out call at first base. If you have a partner at first base, you do not call out or safe. But what are you looking for? You're looking for that first baseman pull foot, first baseman swipe tag. And what's the third thing you're looking for?
Second opinion.
No. Runner's lane interference. If that left foot is on the fair foul line, they are legally running in the runner's lane. So the runner can run in fair territory because that fair foul line is fair territory. If that left foot is completely, clearly inside that fair foul line, I now have an illegal runner. I take off my mask and I hold my mask out like this. I'm not sure if this is on video. I hold it out the whole entire time. I have an illegal runner. Because God forbid if we do now have that illegal runner impede the first baseman taking the throw, that's runner's lane interference, you're out. And the coach is going to come out, ask a question, and I'm say, Coach, you have game changer, you have video? Yep. You're going to see me on video the whole entire time. Once that runner was illegal, I put my mask out. I put my mask out once they became illegal. All right, so that is a secondary mechanic. If you have an illegal runner, and it might even catch people's attention, hey, why are you sticking out your mask? And then I'll explain what I'm officiating. Oh, man, I better tell my runners they're running illegally. Oh, that would be awesome. Okay? So, one person, two person, the movement is exactly the same. Now, if it's a double, what are we doing if it's a double as a home plate umpire? No runners on base, clean double. What are we doing? Yeah, we're getting out here. We're helping our partner. Did he touch first base. We're helping our partner. Did this first baseman stand over first base? Do we have potential obstruction? And we are watching the ball to make sure it doesn't go underneath the fence, doesn't hop over a fence. So there's still a lot that we're doing. And do we do that in one person? We do it in one person. We're doing the same exact thing, but we just now have additional help. If it's a triple, no runners on base triple, now what are we doing? Coming out, boom, first touch, help my partner second base, and now I'm going to this side of the field. I may start working back, by the way, so I might go up a little bit, go to the middle a little bit. I may now start working my way back here, pointing the plate for a triple. Because now if there's an overthrow, which we'll get into very next. All right? So I'm doing this same thing, home plate umpire in two-person. If there's an overthrow, no runners on base, to the dugout, overthrow to the dugout, overthrow to the fence, anywhere, who's got the overthrow ball? Home plate umpire. The base runner will have, or the base umpire will have the runners. Home plate umpire, stay with the ball. This is where the bucket monkey comes in. All right, so the question is, why can't we all as a group all do the same thing with bucket monkeys? And if you're listening, what's a bucket monkey? That's a coach who's sitting on the bucket outside the dugout. And the real answer why we as one group, PSOA, I'm not going to ask our umpires to get all the buckets in the dugout because these coaches are from other parts of the Midwest. So if they're working 60 games where they're allowed to sit out of the dugouts with the bucket, then they come to Omaha and work 5 games with PSOA umpires, you are going to be constantly battling that fight. It has to come from a large organization to say, no, we are not allowing equipment on the field. That's what happens in high school. That's why we don't have the issues in high school, because it's the NFHS as a whole, 50 states, that say this is the rule, this is the expectation. Coaches, you have to be in the dugout.
I actually had it to the high school team Saturday, trying to bring the buckets out.
And you didn't let them, right? Because it's an NFHS, 50 states saying, no, you can't do that. NAIA baseball, NCAA baseball, it's the whole 50 states saying, no, you can't do that.
But also, I took care of that.
And David?
We are enforcing 2 batters out of the
Yes. 2 batters out is safety. 2 batters out is safety. Going back to the overthrow. You have an overthrow. You haven't hit a bucket. Whichever team's bucket that is, you have to now penalize appropriately. So if it is the offensive team bucket that gets hit, what are we doing? Time. Runners go back. No runners could advance when that ball hits that bucket if it's the offensive team's bucket. And if coach says, what? Coach, bucket in the dugout, you don't even have to do that.
Is that time of throw?
What's that? Time of throw, yeah. Because that's when, if the ball went in the dugout, that's how we would award bases, time of throw.
So if I got to get R2, he's at least 3/4 to third. Time of throw, staying on third, send it back to second then.
So yeah, time of throw, you didn't get to third base. Time, go back, time of throw. Now switch it if it's the defensive team. Now what are we going to do? I'm gonna let them keep going. All right. If it's a close play because it gained an advantage, time, you score. If that did not hit the bucket, it wouldn't have bounced right back to that first baseman. That first baseman wouldn't have been able to throw it home. I am going to enforce it like obstruction. In my judgment, what would have occurred had that bucket not been there? Not right away. I would let it play out like an obstruction. And then at the end of it all, now enforce the penalty. Because sometimes it hits off the bucket and goes down right field line. Sweet, I'm going to let that go.
Sean, what if it hits the bucket, goes into the dugout, and you fell in?
I'm going to kill that. Because the ball left the field of play. But if it's the offensive team, It's dead before that. Go back time of throw. I am not going to give the offensive team an advantage.
The buckets are one thing. We're starting to see guys with these little camping chairs.
That's what Zach was saying.
I expect somebody will have a full recliner.
So,
Like just, they're like little triangles.
Yeah.
It's only first base coaches are doing it.
so I heard it was rocking chair. Was it a rocking chair or was it a tripod?
No, in my game, he had a rocking chair.
Okay.
The tripod,
Yeah.
I've seen the tripod though.
If it is easy to move, I'm going to treat it like a bucket. If it is a rocking chair, no, get it off the field. No chairs. No. So coaches watching this, just get everything in the dugout. We all went to Major League Baseball games before, right? We all want our kids to play Major League Baseball. We've all been to the College World Series. We all want our kids playing college baseball. Let's keep them in the dugout so they know how to play when they get there. All right, that's overthrows. All right, rotations. I have there's two things that are going on when there should only be one thing going on. The two things that are going on are both incorrect. So, home plate umpire. What are the situations we will potentially rotate to third base? Okay. Runner on first base, clean base hit to the outfield. There is a potential this home plate umpire is going to come right here. Okay, runner on first base, clean base to the outfield. Absolutely not.
No, wait, sorry, let me rephrase that.
No, you're not even close. Next player. No, you're not even close. Next umpire. All right, first and second, less than 2 outs. All right, so if we have a fly ball to right field, a fly ball to center field, a deep fly ball to left field, this runner at second base can tag and go to third base. And we rotate in those situations. How many runners are there? No. 2. We have a run. We're not to the third situation yet. Runner at first base, clean base hit. How many runners are there? 2. Home plate umpire is taking R1 to third and taking R1 to home. Home plate umpire is responsible for 1 runner. Base umpire, you're responsible for the batter runner. First and second, less than 2 outs, tag play. If that ball is caught, how many runners are there? 2. Home plate umpire, you have the runner at second going to third, and if they come to score, you have them at home. Field umpire, you have the runner at first, staying at first, advancing to second on the throw. So that's why we rotate. We only have 2 runners. What's the third situation? First base, third base, clean hit to the outfield. Because if it's a clean hit to the outfield, how many runners are we going to have? 2. Because this runner on third base, guess what they're going to do? They're going to score. So now we have the runner that was on first. Home plate umpire will have him to third, have him to home. Field umpire has batter runner to first, batter runner to second.
In that situation, you just hang later at home until make sure that runner touches.
I do not hang at home. I'm running up this line. Well, we're going to get there. I am going to put myself in a position to rotate while peeking over my shoulder to see the touch at first base. So now, what we are doing, the first thing we are doing is when we have this potential rotation, runner at first base, clean base hit to the outfield. This isn't a bad thing. I would rather have this than the second thing I'm going to cover. This home plate umpire just sprints and just goes to third base. I'm at third! Because if there's no play at third, where do we need you? We need you at home. Because if there's no play at third, clean base hit, it's a stand-up double, and there's an overthrow, is this the best position to officiate a play at home? No. if there is a bobble by the shortstop or second baseman cutoff person, is this the best position to see that play at home now? So you are only rotating to third base in these potential situations if they come, plural, two things, runner, ball. If the ball never comes to third base, will we ever have a tag out at third base? So don't go to third base. It's, hey, I got third if they come. I get about halfway. The ball is not coming, and I have that runner standing up at third base. I'm yelling to my partner, I'm going home. Because now what does that tell my partner? You got all three bases, big boy. Take it. All right? So, again, I give it a 50% to the umpires who just sprint to third base right away, but that's over hustle. You're actually taking yourself out of position for that play at home. Now, the thing that is not happening most of the time is this home plate umpire, when there's a potential rotation, guess where they're staying? They're staying at home the whole entire time. They're just standing here at home plate. And you're leaving your base umpire out to hang on a very tough play at third base. Because that's the purpose of rotating, for that tight play at third base. It happens maybe once every 10 games. A true rotation, close play at third base happens once every 10 games. Okay?
Is there ever, in two-man rotation, a situation where base umpire will cover home? Yes.
Okay, so the question is this: is there ever a situation where the base umpire will ever come home? The answer is yes. No runners on base. The field umpire goes out for a trouble ball. No catch. What's the home plate umpire doing when your partner goes out for a trouble ball? You're now going one-person mechanics. You're coming up here seeing the touch. You're coming out here to see the play at second. You're coming out here to see the play at third. Field umpire, no catch. You are button hooking, and you are now running 150 feet home. Okay? So that is the only time the base umpire in a two-person mechanic system, trouble ball goes out, no catch. Now you're coming back home for the play at home. Because now your home plate umpire, when you go out, one-person mechanic. First, second, third, sweet, my partner's home, so I don't have to run 90, 80 feet home.
So your partner didn't do high ground, and you have to run back home.
That's why you want to work with the same partners over and over and over again in baseball.
I've had a button hook out
yeah.
all the way back for a finger at the plate.
So, again, home plate umpires, rotations. First base only, clean base hit. First and third, clean base hit. First and second, tag up at second, less than 2 outs. And the reason why, we only have 2 runners. And we only go up to third base if they come. They, ball and runner. Why am I standing here, by the way? Why do I stand here for this play at third base? If you have an overthrow, so here goes the ball. If I have an overthrow, guess who has home plate? Home plate umpire. So you come into that reverse working area while watching the ball. You have that ball overthrow.
Sean, is base umpire gonna have the overthrow?
I just said this.
No, with
I just said this.
umpires going home.
Yeah. Home plate umpire has the overthrow. Home plate umpire has all overthrows in two-person mechanics. That's why we're here, Ryan. Because now guess where the ball's going? The ball's going here. Home plate umpire is going with the ball. So if the home plate umpire is going with the ball, what does the base umpire have? The runners. That field umpire, who should be standing right about here, will now have the tangle, untangled third base and the runner. Home plate umpire has all overthrows. Okay, so I love Johnny Hustles, who they rotate when they don't need to rotate, but save your legs. Only rotate when they, ball, and runner come. Again, I love it when it happens, and it just does not happen too often. Now, this actually goes now to David Landon's story with the one umpire system. Home plate umpire, runner on first base. We have a force at second. Where are home plate umpires going? So we should be going right about here. So we're going to the right side of the pitcher's mound, okay? And why are we going to the right side of the field?
Get a good angle, but you can also keep an eye on R1 if you need to.
Yeah.
Interference, pull the foot at first.
So we have this angle, force play slide rule at second base. And if that's clean, if that is clean, we now turn our attention to swipe tag, pulled foot, runner's lane. In David's play earlier where he was talking about that runner stayed up and didn't slide, if you have any inkling as a home plate umpire that runner's going to do something silly or not what they're supposed to do, stay with this runner. Home plate umpire, stay with that runner the whole entire time. Because definitely in two-person, that field umpire, you are turning when that ball is thrown. You are counting on your partner to stay with that runner. Okay? So that is two-person umpire, the plate umpire mechanics.
The fourth place side rule is still the base umpire's call, correct?
It is the base umpire's initial call. But if that throw happens and then the contact happens, that field umpire is not going to stay with that play anymore because they threw it.
So then
The home plate umpire now takes that over.
you can then be like,
Yes.
fourth place side rule,
Yes.
you're out.
So,
You take over.
yes. So I had a play in a three-person system where that second base umpire, their only job is that play. They did not make the call. I waited a good 2 seconds, feels like 10 seconds. Force play slide rule, batter's out. That is a safety play. And has anybody been in a situation where you're so close to the play you don't have all the information? That's exactly what happened. He was so close to the play, he was so focused on that fielder having that foot on the bag, he had no idea what the runner did. And what the runner did was pop up, slide early, make contact, and not in contact with the bag, which is illegal. You got to be on the bag if you're going to do the pop-up slide.
Now, on force play slide rule, if it's into the second baseman, he's tossing to the shortstop who's coming across the bag. The kid didn't really slide. He didn't really peel either, but it didn't affect the throw at all. Is that still force play slide rule?
No.
Okay, so it's got to affect some part of the throw.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the way we ruled it.
Yep.
The first one we had two. Well, we had one of them, and then we had the second one that we didn't call because the shortstop came across the bag and made the throw fine. He wasn't.
Not necessarily the throw.
Yeah,
It
it's
could be extra footwork.
yeah. So here, make it clearly not affect the play.
Right, and it didn't.
Clearly, yeah. So like sometimes the throw has gone so far in advance, like it's past the runner, and then the runner does something silly.
It was clean throw right
but-
on the money.
Sometimes people will be like, well, it didn't affect the run. It was a good throw. Again, when you slide late, that affects some. It's like in basketball when you, at the last second, put your hand up. That affects the mental part of that fielder. So it has to clearly not affect the play for us to let an illegal slide go. Yeah.
It was no slide.
Yeah. Exactly. Illegal slide is a no slide.
High school, you have to slide to the base. In USSSA, they can slide to and through.
Great question. So the question is the difference between High School Federation and USSSA original baseball rules. So high school, they have to slide to the base. They cannot slide beyond the base. They are not protected beyond the base. USSSA, they could slide to and through. They have that whole line straight through. But high school, they have to stop at the base. So they could pop-up slide, it has to be at the base, on the base.
In USSSA, if
Yep.
makes contact with that fielder, is that fourth place flag
Is it below the knee area?
below the knee?
Legal slide.
Okay.
It is legal.
So on like turf seems to be a
Yep.
little faster.
It's legal.
So they're gonna slide through and more chance of hitting that second base. That is legal.
Yes, because that's legal because coaching clinic, where's the last place coaches want their fielder's foot to be? We don't want it on the base. We better be right here. We better be on the corner of the base, pushing off, getting the heck out of the way. Because if they're sliding straight through the base, this is what they're allowed to do. Slide straight to the base. I am going to tear my knee apart. Now the runner can't hit me. Because if they hit me here, guess what they did? They didn't slide straight to the base. They slid on this half of the base. All right, so a second baseman's going to should take it like this. So now they're getting away from that line. If I'm the shortstop, I'm coming like this on the backside and I'm clipping that base. I'm away from that lane. So that is why the runner is allowed to go straight through, because coaches do have a say in these rules, and every coach in America should be teaching, hit the back corner of this base so that runner does not slide into you. Please. All right? So that's why the rule is, coaches teach that, where to step on the base. Do not step on top of the base, please, runners. Or not runners, fielders. Bad, bad, bad. It's just like first base. Has anyone seen a first baseman put their whole entire foot on top of first base? Yes. And the runner's like, where do I go? What am I supposed to do? And all I say is, just don't lower your shoulder. And then I go to that first baseman, I'm like, first baseman, you please put your foot on the front edge of the base. Do not put your foot on top. I can't protect you there.
And that you can talk to them and tell them that's not considered coaching?
No. I just asked them, please. I didn't tell them, hey, you can't put your foot there. Because by rule, they can put their foot there. I just, please don't put your foot there, because you're going to get hurt as a first baseman, and I can't do anything about it. I don't want you getting hurt.
Now, I know we've covered this before, but a first baseman or a third baseman holding somebody on, and one puts in fair, one puts in foul. They got to have both feet in fair territory.
So, what rule set are we going by? Okay. All right, so they have to have both feet. So let's say, God, I hope this doesn't happen, but let's say just one foot is barely touching this fair foul line.
That's fine. As long as the whole foot.
In OBR is fine.
Okay, high school's fine.
In OBR is fine. All right. High school, they have to have both feet completely in fair territory, just like the batter's box rule. You got to start with both feet completely in.
Start out backwards. I thought Federation you could have one all the way out. You have to have one.
Is Federation 1 foot in?
And OBR is both feet have to be fair.
Okay.
Until the pitch.
Until the pitch. So,
I just went over this because I had some guy yelling at me in Bennington.
okay.
11-year-old game the other day.
11-year-old game?
And I was on my own. And he was like, that first baseman has to be in all fair territory. I was like, it's only one foot. Because I was thinking Federation.
Yeah.
And I went to the car after the Federation.
So, and it's just any part of the foot is in.
So if he's got one foot completely out,
In OBR, yep,
Tell him to get back.
I got it.
time.
Time, well, I'm getting ready to put it in play.
You can't put it in play.
Okay, I gotta move him before I put it in play.
Correct.
Every
Yep.
time.
Yep. Well, hopefully after the first time you bring attention to him. Because we don't put it in play until they have 7 fielders or 8 fielders in fair territory. Because you have the catcher in foul territory. Batter's ready, and, So, Federation 1 foot, OBR, both feet have to be in fair territory.
And all you gotta do, one toe on the white line.
Yep.
And there's no penalty?
No, and
It's not an illegal pitch or anything like that?
nope, no penalty. And
You can't pitch the wind, put it in play.
yeah,
Well,
so
talking-
the
just a single.
so Don't pick this booger.
I'm
Umpire.
I'm just trying to.
Does anyone even know why that's a rule?
So you can't have somebody stand out.
Yes, it's for an appeal. So you can't dead ball appeal, put it in play, and this right fielder is backing up first base when the pitcher throws it over to first base for the appeal. That's why that's the only reason. There is no coach with credibility in America that teaches a first baseman to start with their foot in foul territory.
Yeah, third base I see it way more than first base.
There's no coach with credibility that has the third baseman holding a runner on at third base. Okay? And I know we're live. And I know this is going to be seen by coaches. I hope coaches learn from this as well. There is no advantage gained when that third baseman is holding him on, because you're opening up the hole between third and short. And there's no reason to have this foot in foul territory, because you're getting yourself farther away from the 1-2, but getting back into fair territory. And you're not in a tagging position.
I will say there's a
Go ahead.
couple organizations out there.
His mom's gonna come in and say,
Okay.
school night. But I think, did you have a Hirsch? This is Connor.
Oh, yeah,
My
yeah.
Hirsch.
Yeah.
I don't know who I owe one to or.
We're just going to take it out of the game fees.
Oh, okay.
Boom. There it is.
Thank you.
All right. Don't let mom yell at you. Appreciate it, Connor. What's that? Oh, Connor. Forgot. Boom, boom. Do. Thank you for coming, bud. Sweet.
The federation the site has one of the sites I look at. At time of pitch in the federation would be
Illegal pitch.
if they have
Both feet out. Both feet out. But we're not going to.
But they can have one of each.
Yep. We're not going to put it in play. Yes.
Two-man mechanics, coach of the team with bat, third base box, said he asked me to watch the pitcher. He said he's that far ahead of the rubber. He said, fine, coach, I'll watch it. ABC position, I cannot find an angle like this.
So the question is, pitcher in contact with the rubber. I think we were able to pull it up here, right? So if this is the pitcher's plate, I mean, we have awesome mounds, right? Awesome mounds. If a pitcher, and I'm going to turn this just like this. I'm not sure if those of you in this room could see it. But if the pitcher is like this, 1 or 2 inches, I'm not touching that. Because I'm sure that pitcher's doing it for when they're here. This is the spot, their balance. And if they're in contact with the rubber, now their foot is tilted. I do not want a pitcher pitching off balance and feeling tilted. Because now what happens to that accuracy of the pitcher's delivery? I don't want that, okay? Now, if I see this, home plate, I'll be able to see this at home plate. All right, I actually took a step forward. So that's the illegal act we're looking for, this right here, the step forward. I'm not looking for the twist, oh my God, there's an inch there. That is the balance point where their foot feels flat. And that's how I'm going to explain it to a coach. Hey, coach, this is an advantage, disadvantage, fairness thing. And in my judgment, yes, they might be 1 or 2 inches off, but I have both pitchers doing that for balance. That's why they're not contacting the rubber. I'm using my judgment. This is where their foot needs to be for that balance point so we could get strikes in this game and your batters could hit. Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking for that step forward for that illegal pitch. And there's fields come June, like they have to be 3 inches in front of the plate because there's no clay. I mean, we all know what fields they are, but good question there. Boop. All right. I know any questions on the live YouTube stream? That was these topics, and I can't stress enough, when you go out and you're umpiring, not only by yourself, But there's like Council Bluffs, there's 10 fields. Seymour Smith, there's 4 fields. Kelly, there's 8 fields. If you're seeing umpires do stuff and it's like, hey, could I give you a couple tips? I just watched you work a half inning. I hope our umpires will take on that feedback. Certified umpires in the room. Who's the certified? Been through. So Matt, Steve, have you guys given observation feedback to your partners? So Steve, you're saying yes. Have they been receptive?
Yeah.
Tom, have they been receptive? Ryan, have they been receptive? All right. Umpires are just like, I think they're just like players. Hence, I want to be told if I'm doing something wrong as a player. Because I want more playing time. I want my name to be called. And I want to be more prepared in a situation if it's bases loaded bottom of the 7th inning and I'm the one batting. All right? I want to be prepared. Go ahead.
Question on here about if the field has no lights and the sun starts to go down, at what point can you call the game or for player safety? Or at what point would you not start another inning? Like if clock's running out, sun's going down, type of scenario.
This must have been from Gretna Crossing a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to connect it to lightning. When in doubt, sit them out. If you have that gut feeling like, this just does not feel right, continuing this game, or you want to know what, I know there's only going to be 5 minutes of good daylight left, let's not start this new inning, that's when I'm going to be like, that's it. And if you're able to...
rather end it on an inning instead of adding it back.
Absolutely. So when in doubt, sit them out, call it good, and just, man, coach them.
Visitors are batting and home team's not going to get their bat.
So if the visitor team's batting and you know the outfielders are having visibility issues, like the first comment I ever hear, I can't even see the pitch. Time. That's easy. Yeah. And if they're really big into scores, by rule, it now goes to that last inning. So if that visiting team was down by 1, now they're batting, they go up by 3, and now we can't see the ball anymore, it goes back to that home team winning by 1. You revert back to the last inning.
I had at Gretna Crossing, getting too dark because they could not make it out. Okay.
Yep.
So that's when that happened. And then at Anderson Field, and I think it's Field 3 that looks to the northwest over Millard Avenue.
Okay?
It was getting later in the evening. The catcher could, the warm up pitches. Catcher couldn't see the ball. Coach couldn't see the ball when he was warming up, the pitcher, and then the umpires couldn't see the ball. And there's a point, I haven't run into a situation yet where some coach is going to argue a safety.
Yep, nope. Bellevue East in late June. Like I had to suspend a game for 10 minutes to let the sun go down because the sun was like exactly that situation. Catcher, umpire, bat. I'm like, I'm like, because the catcher's like, I don't think I could see that. I'm like, if you can't see it, there's definitely no way I can see it. So we just suspended the game for 10 minutes. Sun went down and we played ball. They have lights.
Problem with those two fields.
They don't have lights. Yeah, but yeah, if you can't see it, no.
Well, if we're not comfortable, we can call the game.
Absolutely. Due to darkness, yeah, by rule. By rule, yeah, that's specifically in there, due to darkness.
Question regarding that on our board. It used to be you had the little R where you could punch the R and you could put notes in.
Yep.
Okay, that's not there anymore that I have noticed. So there's a comment section now, and that's what I did out there at Miller, I think it was. I put in a comment section that I couldn't see because of the sun. Everybody agreed.
Go under actions.
So let's go.
You use the mobile app, you can do it right from the mobile app.
So I'm going to last week's games because I worked 2 games. So I can't see the R. Create report right here. So do you see this on yours? So you have the nope.
There was an area where you can make a note,
Yeah, under notes, you would be able to go into there and click that.
but the R never appears, does it?
So it's not, but it's, the symbol changed.
But somebody will see it, is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would,
Either way,
Yeah.
I would, if something happens like that, I would email the BSOA.
so like,
So everybody, because if we don't see the notes or something happens, then at least everybody knows.
I just figured as long as I put it in there somewhere, that if somebody.
yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Oh, and with that, I'm glad you said that. With that being said, like, if you put comments or notes in here, these people could see it. So, like, we have not had this in but I'm just going to say it now. Like, don't say that coach was a bloop, 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 because people in Arbiter could see it. So if you have that type of message, send that to psoapremiersportsofficials.com so not everybody could see it.
Isn't there a little box there where you can, you have choice of making a check mark as to who you want to be able to see it?
Making comments.
That's under the notes,
Yeah.
yes, you can do that.
So this is the notes. So officials, viewable, bill tos, sites, teams. Hi. Yeah. So this, just so you know, this symbol here that I'm hovering over,
Yeah.
this is the old R. That's the old report. It's where you could put in the score. I think this was actually 4-3. This game was 4-3.
How important is it to do that?
So I will tell you that I do not look at every single report. I do not look at every single comment. But if somebody says, "Hey, Sean, Millard United, you have $60 for this 9U game at Zurinsky 2. This game was not played." I am now going to go to that game and look at the comments, and if there's no score, I'm going to call the umpire and say, "Hey, I was told there's no."
I try to do it, but then I get 3 games in a tournament or something.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who played it.
So it's there if we need it. If you don't do it and everything goes normal, we're good. But it's just another safety net we have in place where if coaches say, "Hey, we didn't play this game, what the heck?" Zach.
Question on mine says, should spitballs be called at every level?
Spitballs. They spit on the ball. They exasperate on the ball. All right.
Tom, I'm gonna need more.
All right. So I think what they're talking about is they lick their hand and go straight to the baseball. If they lick their hand, go straight to the baseball, off the rubber. Time, you switch the baseballs and you teach the young pitcher, you can't do that. If they do it on the rubber, they are engaged. Lick, ball, time, federation, that's a balk. Federation, balk. Everything else is a B-A-L-L, ball. So it's another high school difference.
Say if they ball.
B-A-L-L.
They're touching rubber. I had a kid the other day. He was come set, and then he took his hand out of his glove, but his finger went right back.
So that would be a balk because they separated the hands. That's a balk, and now we're time. Now it's a dead ball.
Federation only if runners are on.
If runners are on base, correct.
Now, if they do that, you want to throw the ball to the home team dugout, to keep the ball out of play,
No, I just put in my.
so they can go right back to the next pitcher?
Well, yeah. Here's. I don't want to give away all my secrets, but there's no rule of going like this.
Right.
It's only to the mouth. So, a ball will dry. Yeah, so I just put it in my pocket, and
We had that, and Zach handled it so well. It was a cold day, kid went to his mouth apparently. Zach just calls time, he's on, and if he tosses me the ball, I'm gonna hit the fence or something. I'm looking at this perfect baseball.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's what they have spitball. Now, if they're literally spitting on the ball, that's an ejection. I mean, if they like spit, that's an automatic ejection. Automatic. I've never seen it. It's just like if they have pine tar on their hat and put it on the baseball, you're defacing the baseball now. So a defacing of the baseball is an automatic ejection. So. No. Nor is pine tar, by the way. Yeah. Rosin is pine tar. This is another damnedest thing about baseball. All right, 922. Here's the rules question. You cannot answer it. But Matt, when the answer is done and sold, you get to come up here and demonstrate it. Okay.
Yes. I hope I remember what it was.
Oh, he will. Second and third, 1 out. Second, third, 1 out. We have a wild pitch. Batter does not move from the batter's box whatsoever. Stays completely still. Catcher gets it, throws it towards the home plate area. That pitcher can't do it because the batter's standing completely still. Both run score. What do you guys got?
Those runs would be safe because the batter remained like stationary and didn't move to obstruct the play.
Okay. David, your hand was up next.
The batter has to move, if he has time, he has to move out of the way.
Okay?
Well, otherwise it would be offensive interference. There was only 1 out.
Yep, because you finish it. You want to finish it? We're not done yet.
I've got the runner. I get the batter out.
All right, you got the batter out.
I'd say the runner's out. There's only one.
All right, you got what runner out?
The first runner coming.
Okay. Okay. But we had 2 runners. What are we doing with the second runner?
Back to second.
Go back to second base. Probably dead ball. Yeah. Dead ball. Offensive interference. That goes back to the time of pitch.
All right, you want to demonstrate it?
You got one more? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Second and third.
Interference. Bang out the lead runner, send the runner back to second. And then whatever, resume the at-bat.
So you're agreeing with what he said, that batter's gotta disappear.
Yeah.
I would like more context. Was it just like clearly a ball or like swing?
No, it was a wild pitch.
Wild pitch.
Yeah, it was a wild pitch. All right, so your final answer is what?
Offensive interference on the batter. The first runner's out.
Okay, first runner's out.
Less than 2.
Yep.
The runner on second, starter in second, R2 has to go back to second.
Okay. And then what's your final answer?
I'm the same thing, and then I'm just continuing the at-bat.
So there's 2 outs and 1 out.
Okay. What do you have? What did you demonstrate at the field today?
Time! You! That's interference, you're out! You! I'd say back to third base, because he already acquired third base on the wild pitch. So, time, dead ball, that's interference, runner's out.
I could be convinced that R2 batters
Yeah.
No,
or gets base.
no.
You said both
Runner
runners
is
back.
out because of the bad offensive interference. So, time to dead ball.
Yeah.
Runner that came, second runner that came back to score, you, third base.
Okay.
Yep.
R2 could be on third base.
R2 acquired third base already
Oh,
on
okay.
wild pitch.
Yeah.
So you're not punishing him by being saying.
I was just thinking, like, if it's offensive interference on the runner, don't you just, it's dead.
Time of interference.
Time of interference.
So where were the runners at the time of interference?
So, but if you knew the runner on second base wasn't to third base yet,
Then you would
then you go back to second.
put him back to second base.
So you only get 1 out.
What's that?
You only get 1 out.
1 out. Because once you have offensive interference on a player where the play is, what's the status of the ball? Time! You! Runner! Out! You! Runner! Third base. Probably the only thing I would change is I would probably add offensive interference and then go,
Where this gets tricky.
2 outs, the batter.
yes, 2 outs,
Yes.
batter's out.
Where this gets tricky, because this isn't considered batter's interference. This is offensive interference.
Offensive
not batter's
interference.
And your rule reference is 603A.
603A3. All right. So it is 9:26.
But they're making a play on it. It's just like if you had interference.
I think umpire covers that, almost that exact.
Yep.
scenario on a couple different.
And it did happen. It did happen tonight in our game. Steve, question?
Situation here, a few days ago, whereas the left-handed batter goes to and falls backward, loses his balance, and runner from first is stealing to second, falls backwards into the catcher and interferes with the catcher trying to make a play.
Why did he fall backwards?
I can't remember, because I didn't exactly see it. It was the plate umpire that called it, and then he didn't know what to do from there, because he's a new guy.
All right, so let's just say this. Let's say me, as the non-calling umpire, is asked for rules advice. We could always give rules advice. So what I would ask my umpires, like, I didn't see it because the catcher threw the ball and whatever. My first question is, why did that batter move? If that batter moved back and leaned back because of the pitch, that is legal. Because it was the pitcher who forced that batter's movement into the catcher's way. Now, if it was a clean pitch and that batter moved to get out of the way of the catcher, that actually got in the way of the catcher, now that's any movement not associated with the pitch or the swing. Now the batter would be out. So now I'd be like, all right, so that's the rule. You have to make your judgment. I can't make the judgment for you. Because then, even if they're the new umpire, it's like, all right, it was definitely a good pitch, and then there was additional movement. All right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to come out, you're going to point at the batter, yell as loud as you can, that's batter interference, you're out. And now you got to explain to the coach, this batter made a movement that hindered the catcher of making a play. And it wasn't a swing, and it wasn't because of the pitch. And then they won't forget that situation for the rest of their life.
It wasn't a swing and it wasn't a what?
It wasn't a result of the pitch forcing them to move out of the way. Yep.
And I think
My guess is the pitch was inside
Yep.
because if the catcher's going that, probably going
Yeah.
that way anyway, he was getting out of the way of the pitch.
So as long as it's associated with that, because it's the batter's duty to not allow a pitch to hit them, you can't now call them for batter interference for doing what they were supposed to do. Last question, then we're going to end the live, but we will stay here and answer questions all day long.